The laugh came first, soft, sharp, and meant to land like a stain. Jamal Carter stood at the host's stand, holding a folded menu, like it was a permission slip. He was 16, tall and slim, wearing a clean hoodie and sneakers that had clearly been scrubbed to look newer than they were. The restaurant glowed with warm light and quiet music, the kind of place where forks sounded expensive. A waiter glanced at him, then at the menu. "Just one?" the waiter asked, already looking past him. "Yes, sir," Jamal said. "I'm meeting someone, but I can start." The waiter's eyes flicked down to Jamal's hands. No watch, no rings, no card in sight. "All right," the waiter said, leading him toward a small table near the hallway, far from the windows. "This one's available." Jamal sat careful, like he didn't want to bump the table into something he couldn't afford. The waiter dropped the menu with one hand. "Let me guess," he said, voice low. "Kid's meal? Side salad? Water?" Jamal swallowed. "Can I have the soup and the bread basket?" The waiter's mouth twisted. Then came that laugh. Not loud enough for the whole room, just loud enough for Jamal to hear. Each word made the room smaller. "You know," the waiter said, leaning in as if offering advice, "this isn't really a place for stretching coins." Jamal's cheeks warmed, but his voice stayed steady. "I'm not here to cause trouble." "Right," the waiter said, still smiling, like the smile was doing insulting for him. "I'll put in your economical choice."
Before we continue, if stories like this remind you that respect should never depend on how someone looks, tap like, share this video, and subscribe to Black Justice so more people can hear these powerful lessons and stay with us to the end of this narration. It helps the channel grow and keeps these stories alive. Your support helps us keep telling stories that matter. Now back to the story.
When he walked away, Jamal stared at the table. The music felt farther. The lights felt colder. Around him, families laughed, glasses clinked, and nobody looked his way long enough to see the weight settling on his shoulders. He pulled a small envelope from his pocket. It was plain, slightly bent at the corner, and he held it like it mattered. Inside was a handwritten note and a photo. His mom, smiling at a kitchen table, tired eyes bright anyway. This dinner wasn't craving. It was a promise. The waiter returned with water and set it down too hard. "So," he said, "you paying now or later?" Jamal blinked. What?" "We've had people come in, order something small, then magically forget their wallet." The waiter tapped the table lightly, like he was tapping a lie. "Just want to know what we're doing." Jamal's voice dropped. "I have money." The waiter raised an eyebrow. "Sure." Jamal's hands clenched under the table. He didn't raise his voice. He raised the truth. "I'm meeting the owner," he said quietly. "Mr. Hawthorne." The waiter stared, then let out another laugh, this one with more confidence. "The owner? You mean the man who owns half this block? That owner?" Jamal nodded once. "Yes, sir." The waiter's smile sharpened. "Okay, then I'm meeting the president." He walked off, shaking his head, and Jamal sat there feeling like he'd said something wrong by telling the truth. Minutes passed. The soup arrived. The waiter set it down without a word, already turning away. Jamal lifted the spoon, but his appetite was gone. He looked at the doorway again, because hope is stubborn like that. Then the room changed, not with a shout, not with drama, just with a hush that moved across tables like wind. A man in a dark blazer entered from the back, silver at his temples, calm in his eyes, posture like he belonged everywhere, without needing to prove it. 2 staff members straightened as he passed. Instinctively, the waiter froze mid-step. The man's gaze traveled the room, landed on Jamal, and softened immediately, like he recognized someone important. He walked straight to Jamal's table. "Jamal Carter?" he asked. Jamal stood so fast his chair scraped. "Yes, sir." The man smiled, gentle and proud. "I'm Daniel Hawthorne. Thank you for coming." The waiter's face drained the color. Jamal swallowed hard. "Thank you for inviting me." Daniel looked at the soup untouched. He glanced at Jamal's eyes, then at the chair beside him. "Sit," Daniel said kindly. "Tell me how you've been treated." "It's fine," Jamal said, then After a pause, he said, "The waiter laughed." Silence followed. Heavy, unavoidable. The waiter froze near the counter. The owner didn't raise his voice. He raised the truth. "Who served this table?" he asked. The manager pointed. The waiter rushed forward. "Mr. Hawthorne, this was a misunderstanding." Daniel didn't look at him yet. "Was it?" The waiter's hands fluttered. "I didn't know he was a human being?" Daniel asked, finally turning. His voice stayed calm. "That calm was a consequence. Or someone you assumed didn't belong?" Silence fell heavy. Daniel held the waiter's gaze. "Jamal is here because he earned it. He wrote a letter to this restaurant after we donated meals to his community center. He didn't ask for money. He asked for a chance." Jamal's throat tightened. Daniel continued, measured. "I offered to meet him because character matters. And tonight, your character was the loudest thing at this table." The waiter opened his mouth. Nothing came. Daniel nodded once. "You're off the floor. Now, we'll talk in my office." The waiter lowered his eyes and backed away, the room watching without cheering. Daniel turned back to Jamal. "I'm sorry," he said, like the apology was real enough to be heavy. "This place carries my name. That means it carries my responsibility." Jamal's voice trembled just slightly. "I didn't want anyone to get in trouble." Daniel's expression softened. "Accountability is a revenge. It's repair." He reached for the envelope in Jamal's hand, didn't take it, just acknowledged it. "Is that for me?" Jamal nodded and carefully handed it over. Daniel opened it, read the note quietly, then looked up with glassy eyes he didn't try to hide. "You came here for your mother," Daniel said. Jamal nodded again. "She works nights. She said this restaurant was beautiful. I wanted to bring her a story that felt like hope." Daniel exhaled slowly. "Then we'll do better than a story." He pulled out his phone, made a short call, and looked back at Jamal. "Tomorrow," he said, "you'll tour our kitchens and meet our scholarship coordinator. If you still want the chance you asked for, it's yours." Jamal's shoulders dropped like something inside him finally let go. And when Daniel sat down across from him, sharing bread, asking questions, listening like Jamal's words were worth time, the restaurant didn't feel like a place Jamal had to earn. It felt like a place that finally remembered what dignity is for. Respect costs nothing, but means everything.
If this story touched your heart and remind you that respect should never depend on appearances, take a moment to subscribe. Your support helps us share more Black justice stories that inspire change, spark awareness, and remind the world what dignity truly looks like. Share and leave a comment. Your voice helps bring these stories to life and keeps the message alive. Your voice matters here,